kid, don't ever let them get inside your head. They'll tell you what to do in life instead of everything you know that you could get. Don't let them guide your life towards regret. I'll fight for what I love with every breath.
Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. Welcome to the Armoury. Welcome to Full Time Sports Network. Welcome to Steve. How are you doing, Steve?
Pretty good, man. Pretty good. How are you going?
Yeah, not too bad. And we have got the wonderful Gunner King. At the moment, he's currently upside down. Now he's the right way up. There we go. He's now smiling, so he's all good. He's Gunner King. Sorry, mate. I was watching your camera. It was going upside down and all sorts.
Should have left him upside down, man. That would have done crazy, hectic stuff for views. Gunner King has lost his mind and he's just upside down.
It would have worked for Aussie Gooner on the other side of the something.
Perfectly fine on my end, man. Perfectly fine. All good, bro.
How you doing, Gunner King?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I'm good. Yeah. Just excited. North London derby. Big game, man.
Less than 48 hours to go now. Less than 48 hours to go. Obviously, this is part 2 on the Armoury of North London derby. Last night, we invited 2 Tottenham fans on. Very entertaining. I have to admit, it was very entertaining last night. Gunner King did join us as well for that one. It was very, very funny. Let's be honest, it was funny. Let's get in the comments. And then this one's very important. This one's a request from the whole Armoury family. We want you to join the panel. So contact us now. There's our email, thearmourytv@gmail.com. Let's try and get everyone involved. I want to bring the community together. That's what I want to do. I want as many Arsenal fans out there. Doesn't matter if you're not a YouTuber. If you want to be involved, please email us and we'll try and get you involved as much as possible, because, you know, we stream for every preview, every watch along, every reaction. And there's also the occasional Arsenal chat here and there. Arsenal news will be back probably December, January time. As for Arsenal news, as I broke it on the 7th of September, Martin Odegaard has signed his new contract. Wasn't a shock to me, but it is what it is. How are you feeling, Gunner King, about Odegaard signing a new deal?
Delighted. As I said yesterday, like my point remains. For me, he's our best player. And, in terms of, what we're starting to see now is consistent numbers with output in terms of fine end product. But beyond that, it's the work he does off the ball, in terms of, helping us win the ball back, winning his duels. He's so important to that. He's kind of like the he's kind of like the orchestrator to our midfield, and everything ticks through him. In terms of being our captain as well and our leader, that very much is what he is to us. And for me, in the past 12 months, sort of when you look at all the players that we've tied down, I think Martinelli, Saka, now Odegaard, Saliba, Gabriel, Ramsdale. This always, for me, is a signal of intent. I think when you look at the past, Arsenal have been known when we had recently built our stadium as being a club that people could knock on the door of and take the best players from. I think the board are very intent on sort of making a statement as if to say that is not the case anymore. The door is now closed. People do not come to Arsenal for their best players. We go to other clubs and we take their best players, like we did with Rice. So for me, it all bodes very well for the future. I think, when you look at what they're investing in the club in terms of the transfer market, year on year, the Kroenkes have delivered under Arteta. They've got a manager they can trust now. The manager would have fought to keep Odegaard. So for me, all of these things come together to paint a picture of a set of owners that I've been very vocal about wanting out from my club. And listen, they're not out of the woods. They're not out of the woods. Like I said, until I'm in that stadium after we've won the league or the Champions League, something major, and we're doing that consistently, then they're not off the hook. But what they are doing is they're doing all the right things. and I can't say anything against that. You know, like if they're doing the right things, they're investing in the club, they're investing in keeping our best players, they're investing in the infrastructure, they're investing in the women's game. They're, you know, on all fronts, by all accounts, they're doing their job. You know, so at the very least, they're taking steps in the right direction to show that they are serious about the ambitions of this club, and that is the message that they're projecting to the world, not just us as a fan base. So all of our best players are now tied down to long contracts, which shows to me as well that they are invested in the direction that this club is going in as well. So from that perspective, it's encouraging. The Odegaard is clearly invested in the direction that Arsenal are going in, and long may that continue.
Yeah. Aussie Gooner, Steve, how do you feel about Odegaard signing a new deal?
I think it's just, I mean, look, I couldn't agree more with Gunnar King. He's probably our midfield maestro, our captain, fantastic. Leading by example. Look, to be honest, we've always had problems in the midfield at Arsenal. Having players like Santi Cazorla, you could say Mesut Ozil. We really never had after that any quality, any real name in that midfield that actually, when the ball was played to them, other teams would like, oh shit. We were the Arsenal where the midfield was toothless. Goals would never come from it. Maybe an assist from time to time. It was 50-50. But with Odegaard, when we picked up Odegaard and we got him on loan and blah, 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 I was thinking, maybe he could be someone. Everyone was talking about Maddison, and I hate Maddison with passion. But I thought to myself, no, I can see something in this player. And as the time has passed, he's grown into the position of a number 10. But the thing is, not just a number 10. A number 10 that will go forward, that'll come back, he'll defend, he'll win his duels. You don't see that much. A hungry number 10, a guy will take on two players and get rough and tumble in the Premier League. And for us to be able to get him on a long-term contract, it tells me two things. Obviously, Odegaard likes what he's hearing. He sees that this project that Mikel Arteta is trying to, build up, and the direction that Mikel Arteta is trying to go is something that Odegaard's, obviously believes in. The other thing is, just like Gunnar King said, when we've had top players, they wanted to leave. You know what I mean? The Alexis Sanchez, the Robin Van Persies, yada, yada, yada. They've all eventually found, unfortunately, a richer club or a better club to go to with more aspiration, and they've left Arsenal. Here's Martin Odegaard right now, arguably one of the best midfielders in the Premier League, just signs up and says, thank you very much, long term. Right now, Martin Odegaard gets into many a team's midfield. The only team that he'd struggle to probably get into would probably be Manchester City. Let's just be honest. He could have a pick of any team. Any team would go for him. But obviously, with Arsenal going in the direction that they are, and with the position that he's in at the moment, he sees this as a long-term solution. He sees Arsenal being in the Champions League, possibly winning it, contenders for the title, maybe season after season. Top players don't hang around with teams that are just shits and giggles and playing about. Top players hang around when they think, you know what, there is going to be an end result. We are going to be going for titles. We are going to be lifting them. Martin Odegaard doesn't have to be at Arsenal Football Club because he needs money. Any team could pay him money.
Yeah.
And when he signs up, it shows the rest of the team that this quality player believes in this manager, believes in this squad, believes in this team. And that just instills faith in the whole squad. That signing of that contract is pretty much telling all the other boys, I'm with you. We're all in this together.
Mm.
And that's determination. That's going to show a lot of determination from our captain. It's a I don't know. I just think it just solidifies our team further. If it could get any stronger, when you see top players in the team just say, you know what, yep, 5 years. Tony Adams walks into a room, signs a damn contract, says cheers, and walks off. It tells you something. Like, I'm not playing for any other club. And honestly, I think, to be perfectly honest, it's not just for fans and the owners. I think the squad sees their captain just come in and sign up for a long term, it's 5 years. And that just says, look, you know what? I'm at the right club right now. I'm in the right place right now. All eyes on us right now. Other teams have probably got players just like Gunnar King has said. when other teams, when lesser teams with quality players are going to be like, well, if Arsenal come knocking on our door, there's probably not much we could do to stop A, B, or C player wanting to move now. Let's be honest, we're attractive.
Mm.
Apart from our stadium, apart from our history, right now we're an attractive team. We're playing a decent brand of football. Maybe not the best this season, but still, even not playing the best football. Look where we are,
Yeah.
and we've got some of the best players in the Premier League in key positions.
In the world.
There you
In
go.
the world. You know.
Look, you know, you look at Martin Odegaard. You look at just on this is off topic. We got Gabriel Martinelli gets injured, and we have a player like Trossard that can come off the bench, take the position, and make an impact. When has that really ever happened? When you can take a player from the bench, like for like, winger for winger, and the quality doesn't drop, not massively, or the dynamic changes. So Arsenal right now are in a position that's going to be attractive to many a player, and obviously Martin Odegaard can see this. He's looking and saying, "Look, this team we're not sitting on our hands. I needed a midfield partner." And these guys go and get me Declan Rice. You know, where am I getting this? Where am I going to get that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like this no shits and giggles moment at Arsenal right now. They're trying to get serious, and hopefully we can just continue in this direction.
Yeah, 100%. Let's get into the wonderful comments. Good evening, all. Who's ready for some roast potatoes on Sunday, says Tony. Big up to Arsenal Adventure. I love your name. A big up, guys. Big up to you too. All the pictures, Bobby, and I've chosen Mustafi. Look, I have to do some of my videos very quick, so that was the first picture that came up. I nicked it. Simple as that. Evening all. Morning, Steve from Luke. Big up, Bobby, my Australian brother, and Gunnar King, says Tony. Big up, Aussie Steve, by the way, getting up at 4:30 a.m. Aussie time to join. So, yeah, legend. He is a legend.
Big respect, man.
100% he is. Odegaard is a model pro. I respect how he's maximising his talent, unlike some of our previous players. 100%. Here's Dermot. Big up to Dermot. Big up, guys. Thank you for last night, but we will win on Sunday, and I order the moving fans for you for Monday to take you back home. But great, guys, and please, everyone, like and subscribe to FTSN. Come on. I'm not even saying it. I'm not even, not happening. Love you, Dermot. I'll see you Sunday. But no, not saying it. Me putting Odegaard on this match preview from now, it's like I knew the announcement would be today. We got the stone. Where are my favourite Aussie and Gunnar King and Bobo? I've now had my name changed. Well, back from haircut and a Classico going on here. Awesome. Rise and Odegaard is just getting better and better. Eat match together. 100% they are. Sunday roast is up for the weekend. Yup. Yes, guys. Big up to DJ Damos. There will be no chicken dancing. No, there won't be. Yeah, he and
I am actually going to cook up a roast for my family before we watch that game as well on Sunday. That's what I've decided I'm going to do whilst I'm here. Yeah. So it's ready.
All I can say, I pray that we win, because I'm doing a watch along with a Tottenham fan. I cannot handle any stick from him at all if they beat us. I tell you, I just cannot deal with that. I will probably throw the laptop at him. I can't physically do it, unfortunately. He's in Ireland, but
or something, yeah.
Yeah, I will be so angry. But anyway, let's talk about the actual game itself. So head-to-head since the Premier League has started. 69 games, 25 draws, 26 Arsenal wins, 19 home, 7 away. You can tell where the advantage is for the game itself. 18 Tottenham wins, 15 at home, 3 away. So they've only ever beaten us 3 times at the Emirates, and probably Highbury as well. Yeah. Let's move on to the next one. So these are the recent meetings. We beat them at that stupid ground. Well, I don't even know what it's called. I honestly don't know what it's called. What's it called? Tottenham Stadium or something? It's not called that.
Yeah.
Shit Hart Lane or whatever it's called.
It's more commonly known as Shite Hart Lane, but you know.
Yeah.
I thought it was the go-kart track. No, I didn't.
Someone talked about that last night. You haven't got a go-kart track. I was like, yeah, because we got trophies instead, mate. It's, seriously.
More go-kart tracks and Beyonce concerts than league titles in the Premier League era in that stadium, but that's none of our business.
You just all you have to do on Google search, right? You just go on Google search and you go best go-kart track London, and then boom, and there's a picture of Son. You know
what? I hope. You know what? I do hope the Google best go-kart track in London, and it still doesn't come up with that stupid stadium. I hope it's some place in South London or something like that. I just hope that Tottenham's is not the top one, because they'll take that as a trophy. They'll take that as a trophy.
They will, you know. Like, they'll take anything at this point. You know, they're starving. You know, so
Bloody Mario Kart FC, mate. You know what I mean?
I said Mario Kart FC, you know.
I got my guy Ange Postecoglou going around on a cart looking like Donkey Kong.
The form guide, exactly the same form as each other. Obviously, that there are previous results. That's Tottenham's. Well, I wouldn't say they struggled against Sheffield United, but they did struggle to break them down. They did play some good football, but they did struggle to break them down. 5-2 against Burnley. Burnley have not found any form whatsoever so far. They drew with Fulham just like we did. They beat Bournemouth away, and they beat that other Manchester club. I don't know what they are.
Technically, they lost that game to Fulham because they lost it on penalties. Days after they laughed at us for drawing to Fulham. So sorry,
Yeah,
I just have to slip that little correction in there. You know?
No, that's fine. This is the injury list. We've got Martinelli out, Timber out, Partey out. Good. Sorry, I had a cough there. Tottenham out list: Benton, Kerr, Sessegnon, Gill, Perisic is out, and Lo Celso is a doubt. Let's go on to the actual season stats so far. Obviously, it's only 5 games played, so it's very difficult to really work them out. They're in second, we're in fourth. Same amount won, same amount drawn. Average goal scores, they've got 2.6. We've got 1.8. Average goals conceded, they've let in slightly more. Same amount of clean sheets. Chances created is 2.6 with Ange Ball. That's not surprising. And we are 1.4, which does concern me a little bit. I have said this, and I will stick with it until I see how we played on Wednesday, how we play in the Premier League. How we played on Wednesday was something different. I enjoyed it. It was the first game I was actually relaxed. I was like, yep, this is what I've been waiting for. 90 minutes of non-stop Arsenal. Lovely. I want to see it in the Premier League now. So let's get into the comments, because I know that people have been enjoying this food frenzy. 7 a.m. So eggs and spuds for me after the match. London Jaguars Park, says Moss. Toilet Stadium, says Arsenal Adventure. The Armitage Shanks Stadium, says Tony. Right. This was hard, I have to be honest, but I have to do it because I do on every single preview. My 5 to watch.
Is this really happening? I can't believe it's true. I'm just as surprised as you. Is this really happening? I can't be.
Right, this actually took me a while. This took me a while, and I know that a lot of people will be shocked because Son's not there. But for me, Son's not the problem. I think Ben White will deal with him, no problem. The reason I've gone with Porro and Kulusevski is I do think that Zinchenko is probably the weakness we've got. And I know that everyone loves him and all that stuff. That's great. Lovely. Defensively, he worries me still. He did have a couple of moments against PSV which worry me. So if Pedro Porro and Kulusevski are down that right-hand side, I think they could give Zinchenko a bit of a nightmare. And also it's Trossard as well. No disrespect to Trossard, but I don't think his defensive works is as great as Martinelli's personally. James Maddison has to put him in there. He's going to be a pain in the butt. I know Steve doesn't like him. I like him. I think he's a very good player. Pape Sarr, I mentioned him last night. He is one person I would actually take from Tottenham right now. I think he's got talent. He was very impressive about the game. I can't remember what game I watched now with Tottenham, but he was so good in that game. And the last one,
game, he was really good against United. Yeah,
it might have been that one I did as watch.
He's been good in all their games, to be honest. But yeah, the United,
I like him. Yeah. Basuma, to be fair, this is the Basuma they brought. This is the Basuma that everyone wanted. Wasn't the one that we saw last season, but this season he's been very good. So they are my 5 to watch. Obviously, we've got the challenge in the bit, so don't nick my players. Don't nick my players. Use your own players, because it doesn't win you any points.
Saying don't nick your players. They haven't got many a decent player, and you've taken pretty much most of them. Don't nick your. You know what? I'm just going to look at friggin' I don't know, Romero. He's going to be the player to watch. Ooh. I mean, come on.
For me, I'm actually going to put some money on that he's going to get a red card. because I've got a feeling he's going to get a red card this weekend. He's one of those. He's a good defender, but he's one of those ones that's a little bit too risky for me. He's always too hard with the tackle, too hard. And I don't like those in defenders. But we have got the lineups. I need to find the video, wherever that's gone. So, yes, everyone did put their lineups in. Steve and Gunner King haven't. So what they get to do is rate them instead. So it's much more fun. Right, so this is the first team chosen by Moss. He has chosen Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Jesus. You both can give ratings because you might have different opinions on the actual team that they select. So I'm going to start with you, Steve. What would you give that as a lineup if that was picked on Sunday out of 10?
I'd give that probably an 8.
Okay. Gunnar?
I'd give it a 7.
Okay.
I think, yeah. Like, I can't do halves, can I? Like,
no, you can't.
no.
Not with me. You can with someone else, but not me.
As crazy as this sounds, I think this is a game Havertz needs to start. And Raya as well, I would put in goal.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, to be fair,
It does sound crazy, and I'll explain the madness in a minute. But yeah, that's what I would go with.
Are you going to say the reason that I think Arteta will pick Ramsdale, to be honest, because he's played in it and he's got that extra. I don't want to say the word. The shithousery that we actually kind of need for a North London derby. Is that the reason you're thinking with Ramsdale?
Oh no, I would go with Raya.
You're going with Raya?
Yeah, I would go with Raya. I just think, fair enough, Ramsdale's played in a North London derby, but I've just like the calming influence of Raya in the last 2 games. I don't like it, how much he's helped our build up. I'm not sure I'd switch that around now. You know, I'm not like it's. I don't even like saying this, man, because I love Ramsdale to bits, man. Yeah. I absolutely adore this guy. Like, but I feel like what I've seen from Raya in the last 2 games,
yeah,
I can't really make a case for taking him out of this game now.
Yeah,
I can't.
Exactly. Yeah, I'm with you, mate. Don't worry. Look, this is thankfully it's not our headache. This is Arteta's headache and Inaki. Inaki is a big part, and a lot of people forget this. It's down to Inaki as well. He's the one that works with them constantly. Now, what I will say is this will make everyone laugh. He was hoping this would work with Runnison and Ramsdale as well. It obviously did not work with Runnison at all because he was shit. Put it nicely. So that's why they wanted to get Raya. Inaki knows them both very, very well. And I think he's going to keep them both happy. I don't believe there's any talk of him leaving right now, Ramsdale. I did say if I hear anything, I will let you guys know. And I've not heard a single thing. Everyone's happy. Everyone's chilled with the situation. If it changes, I'll let you know. But right now, nope. Everyone's absolutely happy with the situation. So this is the team chosen by Richard Gumza and Albert. They have gone with Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Jesus. Gunnar, I'll start with you this time, mate.
That's bang on the nose for me, to be honest. That's if I had done my lineup, that's exactly what I would have done, I think.
Okay. So what are you going to give it as a rating?
I'd give that a 9 out of 10.
Awesome stuff. What about you, Ozzy?
I'd love to have Thomas Partey available. I'd love to have Thomas Partey available. That's the only thing, because, you know, maybe Rice and Partey with Odegaard, pushing Odegaard further up, matching their shape a bit, because they use a 4-2-3-1, don't they? But yeah. I don't know. Like, yeah, that's a 9. That's a 9 for me.
Okay. Ozzy?
I'd have to agree with a 9. The only reason the Havertz thing isn't for me, look, I don't want to see Ramsdale start this game. I think the competition for positions is what everyone was expecting at Arsenal Football Club. I think Ramsdale needs a bit of time on the bench, just a little bit. I don't I rate the goalkeeper. I just think little mistakes that he does manage in every game have cost us. So Raya in goal is great. I don't think Havertz. Vieira isn't a bad shout. I want Partey in the midfield with Declan Rice, and I keep thinking that Jorginho might be a good shout for this game. And I know it sounds silly, but I think a partnership between Declan Rice and Jorginho gives a chance for Odegaard to go forward. And Jorginho, pressure games, that kind of stuff. He always can ping a pass. He can always hold the shape in the midfield. He'll always give you a 7 out of 10 performance. Vieira, I wouldn't mind, but Havertz, I just feel as if when he's on the pitch, he doesn't do too much wrong, but he doesn't do enough right.
Yeah.
And even for Chelsea, it was the same thing. So that's why when I look at Havertz, I think to myself, we're playing with 10 men. Not that he's the worst player in the world, but he doesn't bring me much. He's like Mesut Ozil. If he doesn't get an assist, there's not much coming out of him. He's not tracking back. The problem I have with Havertz is the wayward passes that have cost us, and this is big pressure. You get me? This is North London derby. You're now on, the red side, and you haven't been playing wonderfully. So I think the pressure could get to him. I know everyone says, he shows up in big games. Let's not play that game. Let's not. I honestly believe that it's going to be too much for him. I would rather go with Vieira and Jorginho in midfield before Havertz. Havertz off the bench, I'd like that. 60th minute off the bench, that's when I'd like him to come in, because I think that's going to just ease the pressure. The moment's changing. There's a shift. Maybe we're ahead. He can come in and try and do something. But to start the game, I'm sorry.
No, that's absolutely fine, mate. Everyone has their different
problem
opinions.
with Havertz is just like I agree, like on the ball, going forward, creatively speaking, I think you're right. But without the ball, he does work. Like he works a lot. Like I think also like the added physicality that he brings. I think like with a midfield of Basuma and Sarr sitting a bit deeper, they've got quite a lot going on there physically. Maddison's not exactly. He's no one to mark either when it comes to physicality. So I just kind of want to match them up a bit more, man for man, physically in that midfield.
Jorginho can handle either one of them.
I think the thing is with Vieira, in terms of like what he's improved on is his physicality in terms of like going in for balls, going in for duels, pressing as well. But with Jorginho, it's just like the covering of ground, because when you look at Sarr, Maddison, and Bissouma, they're all beyond being strong. They're also quick. They're also mobile. I just think Jorginho's lack of mobility relative to those guys could leave him coming up a bit short. I just think with Havertz, you've got someone who's fairly creative, but also really, like, when you watch him in duels, like, he's very, very, very physical. Like, that's the one thing I can't really fault him with at the moment, and I think it will just be a tight affair in midfield. So I think that's why I went with Havertz over the others.
Yeah,
but wouldn't you say that we were talking about Zinchenko and Zinchenko being a little bit weak defensively? Wouldn't you want a player in the midfield that can sort of cover him a little? I don't think Havertz is that guy.
I mean, I think really like when we look at in terms of, I think we're going to control a lot of the ball, if I'm being honest, because that's just what we're doing at the moment. I mean, props to Ange Ball, they're playing more of a possession-based game, but in our stadium, I expect us to have a lot more of the ball, and I think down that side, I think it will be Rice that will kind of just helping out Zinchenko defensively on that side, because Rice is someone that can cover big and wide spaces, and I think that will really help. I think we will see that help Zinchenko over the course of time. I think Vieira, if Vieira started, I mean, I wouldn't lose sleep, because I think, going forward, he's the best. He's the best of all of them, like, by far. It's just in those defensive phases and transitions, can he offer what Havertz does? And we just got to be mindful of them. If they are looking to catch us on the break, They have got a couple of players with pace now. They can overload that side. If Porro kind of doubles up with Kulusevski on that side. So I think like Havertz can kind of cut across and stick with Porro as he looks to come forward.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah. Arsenal Adventure saying here, Bobby, as all the 5 teams we played deployed low block, all the teams took the game to Spurs and lost. Yeah, I get that. It is different setups and stuff like that. I just use the stats that I'm given. So it is going to look different. And yeah, look, PSV, they tried to play a clever game. Peter Bosch set them up the way that he always sets his PSV team up. He doesn't actually change his system. And we ripped them apart. Only Noah Lang that actually looked decent in a team that has not been defeated in, was it 26 games or something like that? It was a stupid run.
Yeah.
And we destroyed them. And I'll use the word destroy because we did destroy them. And I hope that we can destroy Tottenham this weekend because it's possible. It's possible. Tony's saying, don't need to watch any of those films, Bobby. Being part of FTSN, unfortunately, I do have to watch many games I don't particularly want to watch. I'm doing Burnley on United on Saturday night. So unfortunately, I do have to watch games that I don't particularly want to watch, but it is what it is. Zinni should not play this game. Tommy should replace him. To be fair, a couple of people have gone with Tommy, and we'll get into the comments when we get onto those teams. So it'll be interesting what people say about Tommy. Rami needs Love London with his enthusiasm, but Raya, sweet hands and feet, 100%. Arsenal Adventure, you've put a team in. I will leave that till the end so the guys can rate it for you because you have gone with a different team totally. This is his chance, Kai. Off the bench, goal, I agree, Steve, but Mikel Arteta will probably start him. I can agree. Fabio kind of deserves to start, and ESR coming on nicely too. Now, yeah, a couple of people have gone for ESR as well, actually. You'd be interested with some of these lineups tonight. Someone please hammer the Madison. I will love it. Martel Simpson, 100%. I agree with this. Josh does need his flowers. He has done an amazing job since he's taken the reins off his annoying. Oh, I mean, his dad. Sorry, I don't know why I said annoying. But yeah, Josh has been brilliant. Absolutely fantastic. I've loved everything he's done so far. And I know that he's actually sat down for hours and hours and watched Arsenal history, read Arsenal history books, spoken to people that know about Arsenal, understanding the club better than his dad ever did. And Josh is now getting it. So yeah, I'm 100% behind Josh. Just not keen on his dad. Havertz works well with his defensive work, Aussie Gooner. I do agree with that. I think Havertz is hardworking. I know sometimes people don't see it, but he does work hard. And to be honest, Wednesday's performance was his best one in an Arsenal shirt so far. And I expect him to grow. Evening, gents. No TikTok tonight. Brenny, I get the hint. I know. I get the message. That is a shame because you obviously would have joined us. But yeah, we know what you mean. Tony knows exactly what he means as well. Zinchenko toxin, and it's really Rice and Ozzy, the DCMs. It's nice to see. And then Odegaard box to box and Havertz being like a second striker at times. Yeah, 100%. Right, let's move on to the third squad. This was chosen by the silver one. G Talks, Nicolas, Brenny K, and Mehmet. They have gone with Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Jesus. I'll start with you, Steve, this time. What are you going to give that as a rating, mate?
That would be a squad that I'd be all right with. I'd be happy with. But again, I wouldn't give it more than a 9.
Okay.
Because I think Vieira in that midfield, and I know what everyone's talking about when it comes to Havertz. I can see him working hard. My problem is when he does lose the ball, he costs us.
Yeah.
It's in a position that costs us. Always. And that's my issue. Like with just the Havertz thing. With Vieira, I'm starting to see a little bit what Arteta saw when he signed him. I'm starting to see a player who can get in, under the midfield, who can ping a ball, who can pass. I know not physical. I understand that. But if we're looking for more fluidity through the midfield, if we're looking to attack, we're looking to hold on to the ball and to create chances, that's going to be a great great lineup. If we're looking to maybe solidify the midfield, I still think Jorginho is going to be a better shout defensively than Havertz. I know they say, Havertz is more balanced. He works good offensively and defensively. I'm sorry. Maybe defensively somewhat. Offensively, I don't think we get anything out of him. And if we did go with Vieira on that side, that's just going to be helping out Trossard a lot. I know it's going to open up for Zinchenko, but I think Trossard's going to be flying around, and especially with Jesus. It could be high scoring if Vieira starts this game. Now, that could mean either way.
Yeah. What about you, Gunner King?
I would give that. I would go with an 8 still. I think, of like my rationale. I think I agree totally with Ozzy Guna that definitely with Vieira, you probably have better ball retention. Probably ramps up our chance creation. And yeah, like offensively, I think I would trust this lineup a lot more. But I'm more mindful of Spurs' fluidity and attacking options and their ability. They've been a transition team for years. So they've still got that transition style of play in them. And I think if we put them under the cosh, they're still going to remember, certain things that Conte taught them, Jose taught them, Nuno Espirito Santo taught them, which is to be very dangerous off the counter. And that's just my serious reservation with starting Vieira in this game. Listen, I think Vieira's massively improved, and I want to see him starting more games, more home games this season. I want to see him playing more consistently. I want to see him starting Champions League games. I was saying all last season when people were saying we should get rid of him, give him time. He's going to cook slowly, and we're starting to see, as Ozzy said, what we perceive that Arteta saw in him when he bought him. I think a lot more people are bought into what he's bringing to the table now. I just don't think this is the game. Like, I just don't. I think, with the rough and tumble that's going to go on in that midfield, I think we really need to match them. Like I've seen Basuma rock up, playing with Brighton, and really impose himself physically on our midfield. And I've seen enough from Sarr to know that he can help him do that. And especially without Thomas Partey, with this being Declan Rice's first North London derby, I just think we need to just be a little mindful. And, I don't think we lose a mass amount of control, of possession and chance creation if we take Vieira out and put Havertz in, but I think we gain a great level of control in terms of what happens in transition when our attacks break down and we lose the ball. And I can't overlook that. I can't do it.
Fair enough. King Cobra Kai saying we said the same thing against Everton. Everton wasn't a great performance, let's be honest. Let's move on to the next lineup. Now, I'm going to have to probably explain a little bit about this one. So this is chosen by James, the Armoury James. Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Rice, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Havertz, and Jesus. Now, I don't know how he set the front three up. This is how he wrote it, so this is how I've built it. However, there's a possibility he might be thinking maybe Saka on the left, Jesus on the right, and Havertz as the number 9. I'm not 100% sure because he didn't explain it to me. But I don't know what you think of this lineup as it is anyway. So I'm going to start with you first, Gunner King.
As it is, I'm thinking maybe he's thinking to use Havertz as the false 9 and use Jesus in the left.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Maybe, like that's what I would do with those players that he's picked. Yeah. I don't really see Havertz offering very much in the wide area unless he's playing like more narrowly, like in more in the half spaces. But I think like Jesus on that left with Havertz up top, I just don't want to see. I don't want to see Havertz being used as a striker. But I can see the argument for it because, Jesus does work hard, and their centre backs are very physical. That's the thing as well. So I think Havertz would have the ability to pin them and let the likes of Jesus and Saka get closer to him, and Vieira and Odegaard for that matter, and even Rice if he's kind of making later, sort of third man runs from deeper. But if that was the case, I'd give it an 8.
Okay.
If it's as is, I'd say a 7 because I just can't. Even though I can, I mean, Havertz on the inside, narrow like on corridor on the right side would probably be better, and I just don't want to move Saka from that right hand side for any reason whatsoever. That chemistry that he's got with Odegaard is just unbelievable, and even when Ben White kind of involves himself, that triangle is really kind of where a lot of our build-up play develops. So I wouldn't be moving Saka on under any circumstances. Like I've always said that, I'll maintain it. That for me is Saka's position until he's fully developed, and then we can maybe start. I have thought about Saka in the future as an 8 or a 10, but for the moment, I just want him. I just think I want our best players that are performing to a level in their best positions to be kept there. And I think Havertz coming in, the reason at Chelsea, I feel like we probably didn't judge him off of merit was because he was playing as a striker and it's not his natural position. When he was at Leverkusen, for anyone who watched him there, he spent most of his time in midfield. So I want to see Havertz only playing in that left centre mid role, learning that role, understanding that role. I appreciate there's versatility to his game and he can be deployed in different positions. But for me, until he masters that one position that we want to use him in, don't confuse him by putting him in other positions. That's just my opinion. It's too much, like cognitively for him to kind of take on, and he's not clinical, like with his finishing. And and Ozzy Goon is shaking his head there because he knows as well, he's never going to be a clinical, like as clinical as say an Odegaard or a Saka. I don't think. Even a Vieira, I think, is a better ball striker.
Yes.
But I think what he can do is help you a lot in build up. And as I said, kind of really impose himself on a midfield physically and help us kind of develop chances from midfield. So I just want to see him kept there, used there, so he feels comfortable there before we start experimenting with what else we can do with Havertz, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Before I move on to Steve, sorry, mate, I just want to quickly say something. Regarding Havertz, when James sent this through, I quickly looked at the Bundesliga heat maps because I know that Havertz played on the right a lot. And I looked at the heat maps and he does play. He played very well off the right wing, but I was not willing to move Saka to the left wing for the formation of the build up because I couldn't deal with it because Ben White and Odegaard and Saka need to work together for me no matter what. So I couldn't put in there. So I don't think James meant for Havertz to go on the right, but that is an option that Havertz can play on the right. However, like Gunnar King has literally just said, that is not a triangle I want to break up at all because it works so beautifully. Steve, your turn, mate, about this lineup.
Okay, so I say 6 out of 10 on this. I hate to say it. I think it's one of the worst. For me, it's a bad lineup. You have no overload on the left-hand side at all.
Yeah.
You have no real goal threat on the left-hand side. You've now taken away any sort of link up that you'd have with Jesus. And to pull Jesus onto the left-hand side, you're taking another really good player out of a position that has become natural to him.
Yeah.
Jesus does wander to the left, sometimes wander to the right, but he's very much central. I'm not happy about trying to take away, moving Jesus out of position to see if Havertz can work there. Moving Saka out of position to see if Havertz can work there. This is Arsenal Football Club, not Havertz Football Club.
Yes.
Now, if Havertz is going to be playing in the midfield as a left centre midfielder, he has to live there. And he can't move anywhere else because we can't be chopping and changing from players who have solidified their positions. Martin Odegaard, you get what I'm saying? That overload with Ben White, Odegaard, and Saka, that's been going on for donkeys. Now, Tottenham know about this. How are you going to handle it?
Yeah.
Who's going to come back? Solomon's going to come back and be helping out the left back? Yeah, good luck with that. Cool story if he doesn't get injured. Cool story. He's probably going to fall over and be out for the whole season. Now, Porro, for me, everyone goes, Porro is he's a great player. going that way forward, yes. Coming back, no. He's not good defensively. Now, if I put Havertz there and Vieira in the midfield, I don't have much of an overload anymore. Jesus is going to have to be tracking into that left-hand side. He's going to have to be going deep into that left-hand side, and he's going to be doing all the work. Again, as a number 9, you might as well not even play him. He can't play number 9. He's not a number 9. And I think the reason why he played in the midfield for Chelsea and he played as a number 9 for Chelsea is because they couldn't figure out exactly how they wanted to use him. Hence the reason why he was played everywhere. He's played in double pivot, which didn't work out. He's played in a lot of positions for Chelsea. A lot of people don't remember. I watched him and I've watched Mount and I've watched Chelsea. I watch every team. And I think if we're going to be playing, we have to play to our strengths. We overload on the left-hand side with Zinchenko, with Jesus sometimes. You get what I'm saying, and Vieira. We need to be moving with Trossard, a player who can play on the left-hand side, can cut in. He's a little bit different from Martinelli, but can ping a ball. I'm not willing to grab a player who's played across the whole front line and had a hard time at another team. If it means him playing in the midfield, I'm not going to be happy about it, but it's going to happen anyway. We spent 60 million on him. It's not like he's going to sit on the bench. But to put him out in the left wing, then it's going to be to the right. That's all it's going to be happening. All that anyone's going to be seeing is everything going down the right-hand side, and Tottenham are going to be laughing about it. Great. We don't have to worry about that left side.
The only explanation I've genuinely got is that he meant to put Jesus out on the left, who, by contrast, would
Jesus on the left
definitely get behind Porro and cut inside onto his right-hand foot and interchange with Havertz. Like, I'm not saying I like it, and I think I'm going to downgrade mine to a 7 because it's taken Trossard out. Like,
all right, mate.
It's so wrong, eh?
Yeah, like, I mean, I at the moment, I can't countenance Trossard being taken out of this team, with Martinelli not being available. And yeah, I agree with Ozzy Gunnar in that I think what we need to try and utilize is the fact that Postecoglou, you see with us, right? Ben White inverts into the defense, Zinchenko inverts into the midfield. So we build up in a free shape. The difference with Postecoglou's build up is he overlaps with both his fullbacks. That's how adventurous he is. Like, he pushes them both up, and he gives them the license to both invert and overlap, accordingly. So I think where Spurs can be got at is behind those fullbacks. And even if you're facing your fullback with the ball, one-on-one, Saka and Trossard isolating those fullbacks that aren't good defensively, they're going to kill them. Maybe not for the whole game, but they'll get the better of them for enough, like a few times, and in my opinion, they'll do it enough times for that to matter. And I think that is the main point. That is the chink in their armor. Like, they've come up against good teams, fair enough, but they've not come against teams that have got wingers that can exploit the weakest part of their team. And I'm not saying weak as in Udogie and Porro aren't good. I'm saying stylistically, they are fullbacks that like to get forward, that, as Ozzy said, are better going forward. But when it comes to the defensive side of the game, Udogie not so much. Porro absolutely can be got at. He can be got at. And that's what we need to, that's what our whole system geared around anyway. You heard Zinchenko doing that interview. He said, everyone rates me as a fullback, but if I've inverted into midfield and given Martinelli the ball in a situation where he's isolated his fullback, according to the coach, I've done my job. I've done my job. So our system orientates around our wide players isolating fullbacks. And that is where, if there is one part of their team, if I had to pick trying to go through Spurs through the middle or trying to isolate their fullbacks to try and find space behind those fullbacks, the choice is simple. You think you're getting as much change from Basuma and Sarr as you are from Porro and Udogie? Absolutely not. You're not doing that. You're not doing that. I'm not saying you can't get them either, but you can absolutely have a field day with Porro in particular defensively. And I'm not saying he's terrible defensively. I'm just saying balance-wise, when you look at someone like Reece James, there's no real weakness between him going forward and going backwards. You look at Trent, great going forward. You look at Trippier, fairly well balanced. You look at Ben White, fairly well balanced. You look at Zinchenko, great inverting in midfield and going forward, can be got at defensively. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Stylistically, these are both fullbacks that are more comfortable on the front foot than they are having to go back. And if
And
they're
that
trying to
exposes
throw
that
men
the
forward,
midfield partner.
yeah. And if they're trying to throw men forward and play with a high line like they have been, that's what you got to look at. Got to look to get to them. And I don't see Havertz in a wide area on either flank having the. He's got the IQ. Does he have the confidence? No. But in terms of the legs, you got to go at them with pace, and Trossard got that, you know. But Trossard can speed up and slow down as well. He's got pauser in his game, you know, like, so it's got to be Trossard or Vieira or Saka, anyone with a burst of pace, turn of pace, quick change of direction, and good feet has to be in those wide areas. They've got to have a combination of all those things, and Havertz doesn't have a combination of all those things to be playing in the wide area. Jesus does, which is why I said put him in that wide area maybe, and have him drifting inside from the left-hand space. But again, he's just so effective in that 9 role. You know, why would we
disrupt that? You don't want to disrupt that.
I would listen. I've said all along, I want to see us experiment with using Jesus on the left.
Not in this game.
If we got a Tony, if we try and use Havertz up front, after Havertz has first mastered that midfield role, when we get Tony, another striker alternative, or we start using Nketiah to do that. Not in a North London derby at home. That's not where you experiment with these key fundamentals in our attack. But yeah, try that later on in the season at home. Absolutely, try that in the cup games, and try that in the Champions League qualifying games that we expect to do well in, just to see if we can do that later on. Don't be piloting things in North London derbies that, it's just, I'm just getting PTSD thinking about it, to be honest.
Yeah,
you know,
no worries, mate.
It's a bad lineup, dude. It's just bad. It's so bad.
there is worse to come. Don't worry, there is worse to come. Havertz is used differently from Fabio Vieira. He occupies the centre back to free up space for other players. I can see him starting, but I feel Fabio Vieira and Trossard balance out the left side. Totally agree, Kai. Totally agree. Let's move on to squad number 5. Karen, Josh, Jack, and Miguel chose this one. They went with Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Tommy at the back. Jorginho, Rice, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Jesus. We're going to start with you first, Steve.
It was so good, but Tommy at the back as a left back. He's not a left back. I know he's done it from once in a while, but not in this game. Not in this game. The whole lineup looked good. I saw Jorginho. I said, wonderful. I like this. But when I saw Tommy, I know what they're going for. They're looking to solidify the defense. I get it. I completely get it. But that now becomes a very defensive Arsenal. You got nothing going down. Tommy is not going to be getting involved on the wrong side of defense in an overload on the left-hand side. He's not. So now it's literally going to be between Rice and Trossard. You can't create much of an overload there. So, and it takes us defensively maybe okay, but going forward, it wouldn't be the best. I think Tommy needs to be used to his strengths, and I think he's either going to be at centre back or right back. I know he's a great player. I rate him, but I don't want to grab, again, horses for courses, grab a player who plays right back and right centre back and put him at left back because it worked once or twice. When it hasn't worked, it's been horrible. And Kulusevski, he'd have a field day on that side because Tommy's not comfortable on the left. You can see it. Kulu would love that. No, he's not. He's not going back. He gets chopped and changed, especially with a decent player who's not predictable. Kulusevski isn't predictable. So I know it worked. All we did to Salah, but Kulusevski is not very predictable.
I'm gonna say I think I would rate this squad fairly lowly, but I'm gonna disagree with Ozzy Guna. Like Tomiyasu can play across the line. I think if we look to last season when we played against Liverpool at the Emirates, he did this. Zinchenko was just returning from injury. He deployed Tomiyasu as a left back. I remember he had Tierney, and we were all shocked. I was like, "What's he doing? What is he doing?" And
Salah is one dimensional. He always cuts in.
Yeah,
Always cuts in.
But my point is, like Kulusevski cuts in more on the left-hand side. Yeah, he has more.
He drags players out too, dude. I've seen him drag, man.
He trusts his weak foot a little more. But my point is, Tomiyasu is one of our best players in the squad in terms of one-on-one defending. When we're talking about shaping up his man in front of him and facing tricky wingers, he's very good. And if Kulusevski's natural tendency is going to be to cut inside the pitch with his strong left foot, Tomiyasu's right-footed. So when you play with a right-footed defender and they're cutting in, he's actually cutting in onto your stronger foot. So to cut across him, stylistically, it's easier. And you remember Jose Mourinho used to do this as well to Messi when he used to switch his fullbacks on the other side to stop Messi having that channel to cut inside. So effectively, what you're doing is you're showing the man onto his weaker foot and you're saying, you want any change from me, you're going to have to go down the other side. But this is the other but. Tomiyasu's an amphibian. He's almost as effective with his left foot as he is with his right foot. So when it comes to tackling and getting across
seriously,
people,
it only worked at Liverpool. It only worked when we played against Liverpool. It really only worked there. I know you're looking at Liverpool. Everyone looks at Liverpool. After that, we deployed him on the right-hand side. He didn't look good. And then left-hand side, he didn't look great.
But we'd not really used him on the left after that. But what he's very good at in terms of
we did, and it was and people were screaming and yelling that this is not working with Tommy on the left.
When else did we use him down the left last season?
I think we used him in 2 or 3 other games on the left on the left that season after Liverpool, and he got wrecked.
Which games?
I can't name them off the top of my head.
I can't remember. But
no, he did. It wasn't just Liverpool. We played him again on the left-hand side, and he was getting wrecked.
I mean,
I can't remember the games.
I can see the rationale behind it. The argument I've got against it is you've now got 2 fullbacks. Which one's inverting into the midfield? And if you're using Jorginho as the base pivot without a midfielder with legs, a defender with legs to invert in the midfield to get next to him, what support is he getting? That means Rice is going to drop deeper, which means, as Ozzy said, it becomes a bit more defensive. If I was to do this, I'll put Rice as the pivot and again use Vieira or Havertz. My gripe more is with Jorginho starting this game, and it's not because he doesn't have quality. It's not because I don't think he's good. I just think midfield wise, Sarr, Bissouma, and Maddison have way too much mobility, way too much legs, way too much stamina, way too much overall athleticism, strength for Jorginho to be effective as a base pivot in this game. Now, if we are playing against teams where, yes, he will give us a bit more control on the ball, because he's very good at keeping the ball. He'll help us, kind of in build up with the ball. I would just be seriously concerned with what happens when Jorginho is trying to shackle a Bissouma running at him. And I don't know if anyone's seen Bissouma dribbling. This guy is very adept when it comes to dribbling. Sarr as well, Maddison as well, running at players. I don't see what Jorginho offers when these players are running at him. I don't. Other than bringing them down, fouling them, probably getting a yellow card, then having to play throughout the game where he's on a yellow card and he's got to be careful anyway. And then you got to sub him off. You've used one of your subs. It's not the game for Jorginho to start. This is the game for us to be assertive, go forward, get some early goals, and then bring Jorginho in to see out the game. That's the phase of play that Jorginho comes into this game. The last 20 to 30 minutes to help us see out the game. And as Pepe used to say, kill them with 1,000 passes at the end of it. That's when you bring Jorginho into this game, in my opinion.
Just to put some oomph behind what Steve was saying about how many times he did play left back last season. He did play quite a few games at left back, so I've got the ability to find out where he positioned on certain games. And there was a game against Liverpool, obviously everyone talked about. However, he did play against Leeds in the 2-1 win on the left. Tottenham away, he also played at left back when we lost 3-0.
Wait,
So,
the season before, yeah? When
yeah,
we lost
well,
3-0?
hang on, let's have a look. Let's see what
Yeah,
this is.
because we didn't lose to
It was the
Tottenham
previous
last season.
season. We won that.
Hang
We
on.
doubled that. Yeah.
And bear in mind that that back line had a severe amount of injuries and casualties in it as well. So
Hang on, I've got to find out what this is.
I don't doubt that he did probably, as you said, Ozzy, I don't doubt that he probably maybe did start. So I just can't remember any other ones. Just that Liverpool one stands out to mind because he really.
Oh, that Liverpool
Mark.
one was great, and I thought it was going to be an option, but I had seen him. I can't remember the games where it just didn't work, and it was about 2 or 3 of them where it just didn't work on that left side.
I think this season against Palace, didn't he start on the left? If I'm not mistaken, as well, when he got the red card.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, he did, didn't he?
The Tottenham one was the 5th of December 2022. We lost.
Yeah, that would have been the season before last.
All right, mate. Sorry.
That's right.
I'm just looking through the stats of this. It's just loads of numbers and where his position was. But yeah, Crystal Palace. Yes, he played left back. Yes, that's the game he got a red card in.
That wasn't a sending off. Do you know what I mean? That I don't think he can be blamed for.
Yeah.
I think defensively he was doing fine. Against who is it? Like they had RU, and he tends to do this when they come across trickier wingers. Like to shackle them up a bit. But I just worry about where the inversion into midfield comes from. Does it come from Ben White, and then Tomiyasu moves over?
And then that changes the dynamic of the team. I believe honestly. I've like I said, I'm telling you, I remember 2 or 3 games that he played at left back and it was horrible. And it got to a point where he wasn't playing at left back anymore, at all. So I just think to myself, I know it's an option, but not for a North London derby. And I honestly think that at right centre back and at right back, this guy is better suited. And as a right centre back or centre back, he's wonderful. I think on the left hand side, you're asking too much. I know we don't have many options at left back if you want to go defensive, but if you want to play defensive, if you want to play, no, I'd take Tomiyasu over Kiwior on that left hand side.
Can I have a quick rating because I do refer back to the guys that done the team. So what we're giving it out of 10?
I'd say 8.
8 for this one. What about you, Gunnar?
I'd say 6, man.
No, that's all right.
Fair shot.
The Tommy and Jorginho. I think Jorginho and Rice. I think Rice has played that 8 role 1 or 2 times. Obviously as a box-to-box presence, he's good. I just think final third, when he gets closer to the box, he doesn't have the quality of the others. And I think that could come at our detriment. I just think it's overall. I mean, the only way I see this working is if, I don't know, Tomiyasu inverting into midfield from the left back.
If Zinni was in there, it would make a good lineup.
Fair enough.
We better with Zinni, coming in, tucking into midfield next to Jorginho. I agree.
It would make a really good lineup.
I don't want to change that dynamic down the right-hand side. I do agree that we need to start being a bit more expansive and trying new things on that right-hand side, but we know this works. We know that triangle of White, Odegaard, Saka, we know it works. So just don't change it. Don't change it for this game, man.
Yeah, 100%. Moss saying Lee G Yuck. I have literally no idea why. Just to put it out there. Basuma is rubbish, says Tony. Yeah, Tony does have
absolutely
issues. The same J20 that bossed Newcastle away, says King Cobra Kai. Evening to Tony Fulbrook and Ozzy, bit late joining. No worries, mate. You come whenever you can, mate. I honestly don't mind. Let's move on to the next squad. This one's going to give people issues. So we've got the same back four as we just had with Tommy. Rice as the number 4. I'm going to say number 4 because that's how I've been brought up. So I apologise. I know it's number 6, but it's my number 4. Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Jesus. Gunner King is gone mute for a minute. So Steve, what do you rate this one, please, mate?
Look,
Sorry, guys, I had to get my dog. He was making some weird noises. So just keep him in.
I'm a big fan of Emil Smith Rowe. I reckon he's a wonderful player.
Yeah.
But he hasn't had much time on the pitch. And I don't think this is a game for him to start really coming back into his starting line. I think he's a great player, but I haven't seen much of him this year. Is this a game that he comes in now and starts a bit rusty? He hasn't got that fluidity. He hasn't got that sort of that fluidity with the starting line. He hasn't started too many games with Trossard, so it would be a little bit hit and miss. On paper, it looks great. But I think for Emil Smith Rowe to come into this game, Emil Smith Rowe would have had to be playing consistently in the previous ones. You need your players to understand where they're going to be on a certain run, on a certain pass. And I think ESR has got quality all day, but the fluidity wouldn't be there. The left-hand side, the overload would be, how can I say, it'd be trying. It'd be slow. You know, where a Vieira would just ping a ball into Trossard because he knows where he's going to be. ESR has to look up. And as soon as you look up, that's 1 or 2 seconds. And then you put the pass in. That gives time for the defender. And we're talking, this is football. It's fine margin. You know what I mean? It is that player who can put a pass in without looking or knows where a player is going to be that gets you a decent break, which is what we're working on. You know, we're trying to expose their wingers. And I think Emil Smith Rowe, for what he can bring to the game, which is a great player, I just think because of the time that he hasn't been on the pitch, I couldn't start him. Off the bench, I could. That'd be great, but I wouldn't start him. And again, Tomiyasu at left back, I understand defensively it will be good, but where is the overload here? You're not going to have Tomiyasu, ESR, and Trossard going down the left-hand side. It's not going to work. So there's no overload now. There's no overload. Then it's going to change the dynamic. I'm not up for it. I'll probably give that, honestly, I'd give that a 7 at best. And that's me being a bit nice.
So this was obviously chosen by Zainab, Ben, and Stuart. So Gunner King, what are you going to give this one?
I'm going to give this one an 8. I'm not going to explain, but not for this game. No, I'm going to explain.
Oh, you're not for this game. Yeah. If not for this game, I'd give it an 8. I'd agree. Not for this game, yes.
Yeah. I would. What happens, right, on the right-hand side, if you imagine Odegaard and Saka doing a carousel wheel, where they turn inside, you know, sometimes Odegaard might bend his run behind Saka and then go on the outside, and then Saka might go inside. Sometimes he might bend inwards on the pitch, going towards Jesus, with Saka coming round back underneath him and inside, and then Ben White kind of like coming into that rotation as well, and those rotations intersecting. And the reason that works is because Saka and Odegaard are both left-footed. So when you've got, whether Odegaard goes on outside to in or Saka does, what you've got is they're both inverting into the pitch on their left foot. Now, if you put ESR and Trossard on the other side, doing the same rotation, you've got the same thing, but with the right foot. Now, I hear what Ozzy's saying about overlaps, but what we need to understand about our system is it's more underlapping and inversion that our creation comes from. Do you know what I mean? Where, you know, sort of instead of Ben White going outside and stretching the pitch, like going really, really wide, what they look to do is get to sort of the byline of the box and cut the ball back across the box. And that's what this creates. You know what I mean? That's where that creation comes from. If you look at most of our goals, they involve a cutback somewhere. You look at Odegaard's last goal, the crossing part isn't such a massive feature of our game. So I think Trossard being an Ampidel anyway, using both his feet, Smith Rowe being more predominantly left-footed, longer term, that's where I've always seen ESR's role being in this team. But not for this game. He hasn't got the match fitness. He hasn't got the minutes. Everything else I agree with that Aussie Gooner said. You know, in terms of, I do want to see ESR slowly integrated into this team.
Oh yeah.
But slowly integrated. He's definitely performed in North London derbies before. You know, obviously the season before last when he did get injured, absolutely put Tottenham to the sword with Saka and Oba, I remember. When we won that game. So, you know, in terms of, you know, being a big game player, he's done it against Chelsea multiple times, done it against United. He's put a lot of the big teams to the sword, but it's just too early for me to say start him, especially in a North London derby. We need players that have got those minutes in them, that have got that sharpness, and a few minutes off the bench against PSV, he wouldn't have got that. Not yet. Like, so yeah, I think over the course of the season, this is absolutely the sort of lineup I want to see. Although I'd still use Zinchenko over Tomiyasu on that side. Too early for me. Tomiyasu, as I said earlier, I'm fine with starting on the left side to shackle up Kulusevski. But Zinchenko did fine against Kulusevski last season. I think Kulusevski was returning from injury, mind. He wasn't in the form that he's been in so far this season. That's my only reservation, which is why I think Tomiyasu has a case. Smith Rowe starting in this game way too early. Way too early.
Okay, fair enough. Right, the next two squads we're going to have to do very quick scores because I do want to fit the challenge in because we've got two people that have spent time doing the challenge. So I want to two quick ratings for the next two. So this next one was Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko, Jorginho, Fabio Vieira, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, and Eddie up front. So G, just give me a number out of 10 for that one, please.
I'm going to go with 7.
7.
Again,
Steve?
I'd agree with that. Jesus has to start.
How much Jesus unlocks the other players around him?
I swear to God, I was going to say the same thing.
Absolutely no coincidence that we scored the most amount of goals. People say it's the level of opposition. Oh yeah, PSV aren't that good, and PSV tried to play against us.
No, PSV didn't concede too many, haven't conceded too many goals in the league. So let's just be honest right now. You know what I'm saying, bro?
And Tottenham are going to try and play against us as well. Jesus picking up those pockets where he kind of like drops into the channels, drops deep in between those two midfielders, and sometimes allows those one of those other midfielders to get forward and interchanges with them. Nketiah is great in front of goal, finishing, but just that all-round game, we are going to need that. And also the way Jesus presses, unrelenting. Like, you know, Nketiah presses as well, but the actual intelligence in how he presses and the consistency and the effectiveness of the press, Jesus has got that in spades over Nketiah, bro. We have to start Jesus in this game. We have to. I think after Odegaard and Saliba, he's the third name on the team sheet. No, after Odegaard, Saliba, and Saka, fourth name on the team sheet for me.
Fair enough.
Fourth
Big up to John and Jonas that have put the team in though. But yeah, let's move on to the final team. Tim and Carlos did this one. Smith Rowe's on the left, Havertz in the middle. So quick, and Tommy's up left back. So quick rating, please, Steve.
6.
6.
I literally give that a 6.
As well, yeah.
Yeah, it's Trossard playing 9. I've got Emil Smith Rowe playing the left wing, and I'm sorry that.
No,
look, I kind of see where they're coming with it, but I think that left hand side is just going to be, it's going to be nothing on the left hand side.
Absolutely fine. Gunnar King, quick rating so we can move on to the next ones as well.
7.
7.
Has to start Jesus. Not a great deal of pace on the left-hand side, but all good ball players, they'll be able to retain the ball and build up a bit more slowly. But we need pace to exploit Porro, and yeah, I don't think Smith Rowe has that. And again, what I've said with Smith Rowe returning from fitness, not the game to start him.
Fair enough. We have got a. Oh, sorry, put that back on. Got a couple that were put in the comments. King Cobra Kai. I think we might have already rated this one, to be honest. Saka, Trossard, Jesus. I think we gave that a 9 and an 8.
We've rated that one, yeah.
Yeah. So well done for your squad. Arsenal Adventure. That's definitely different. Raya, Tommy, Gabriel, Saliba, White, Rice, Trossard, Ode, Reece Nelson, Havertz, and Jesus. Very quick ratings for this one, please.
Rest up and just no. I refuse.
Yeah,
not this game.
I'm with you on that one. What rate are you?
I'd agree with Gunner King. I'm agreeing with Gunner King on this one.
Ain't no way, man. No.
It's not. That's just not. It's just no way. It's an adventure.
And also Jesus hasn't played for us on the right wing yet, so too much experimentations going. Where's Trossard? Left centre mid. Trossard. Nah, I can't. It's got to be a 6.
I can't rate that. It's impossible.
Trossard's great going forward, and he can press okay, but where's the physicality in that midfield? You know, if you're
there's no physicality at all. It isn't, and the thing is, you're not going to get. I think Jesus is going to get the centre backs in card trouble early. You know, if he plays as a striker, you know what I mean. You know, let's handle him. Let's literally handle him. And I think you do that, and all you're doing is letting centre backs letting them off. Centre backs aren't going to be working too hard. You're going to be kicking back. It's different.
It's different, yeah. It's
definitely
different.
If it worked, I'd be happy to say cool, you know. But I don't see how it would. I'm sorry.
Yeah. The thing is, as I said, man, you know, my AFTV fan cam against Fulham, like, I'm all for experimentation, and we've bought players that can be used in different positions, and I want to see that being utilised. Doesn't mean I want to see it happen in North London derby, you know, against Tottenham when things we've tried have already worked. That's when you go with tried and tested things. Your weakened opposition, your cup games, your Champions League qualifiers against weaker opposition. That's where you experiment, you know. And obviously with Fulham, we were more forced into it because Jesus and Zinchenko weren't fully fit, because Timber was injured. When it's more of a necessity, then by all means you have to experiment. But these players are fit now, so yeah, you know, like, you got to go with your best players against the better teams. And whether you want to admit it or not, right now Tottenham are one of the better teams.
Okay, let's move on to Tony's team.
So far they have been anyway. You know, like.
And who they played? And who have they played? Who have they played?
But let's
the best team they played was Man United, and they're not even a shadow of their former selves.
I mean, you've got to go off form, haven't you? You know, like, form dictates that at the moment they are one of the better teams. As much as we don't.
Yeah, but if I look, okay, we talk form, right? But if I start playing against the lesser teams, the lower end teams, of course I'm going to look good. Like, everyone's going to say, "Oh, look at PSV. We just demolished PSV." But they're going to say, "But they're a lesser team." There are lesser teams in the Premier League. They have had an easy run. They have played Man United at their weakest ever.
Yeah,
right.
But I think
that can be that's going to be their highlight. We beat Man United. It's not even Man United, man. You get me? And they drew against Fulham. So did we. But we have not been playing very well. We're getting our results. I just think Tottenham are playing the best football they can possibly play against lesser teams.
Looking at them at the moment, stylistically,
which is easy to impose your style. Which is easy to impose your style against a lesser team. Remember that.
I think they, in terms of how they're playing, Man United, I think they'll give us a tougher test than United. They'll give us a tougher test.
Yeah, of course they will. United, like I said, are not playing good football.
If you're asking me to say that they won't be the toughest test that we've had this season in terms of how they're playing, and in terms of how everyone else is playing, everyone else that we've played, they'll be tougher to beat than PSV. They'll be tougher to beat than United. They're a better side than Fulham. You know, they're a better side than Palace. These low blocks might have given us more trouble, fair enough, but they have more quality to be able to hurt us. You know, I definitely, you know, I don't know. I just, yeah.
I think if they played Fulham again, they'd lose.
Right, let's move on to Tony's
Maybe.
team because it's the final one. They've gone for Ramsdale, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Cini, Jorginho, Rice, Havertz, Odegaard, Saka, and Jesus. Quick rating out of 10 for Tony's, please.
I'd say 8.
Okay, Gunnar King.
7. I really can't with Jorginho starting this game.
No,
I
fair
can't. I think Zinni inverting at least helps him a bit more, as we said earlier, because he's got legs.
Yeah.
But then the lack of legs that Jorginho has would then probably have him pinned back a bit more than we like, as opposed to kind of getting forward and getting closer to Trossard in build-up, which I don't like.
Right, so we are going to quickly move on because we do need to do the challenge, and I need to put my son to bed. ESR looked good Wednesday. Did you miss yours? Marsh, yours was actually the first challenge. The first team we did tonight. You got a rating of 8 and 7, so not too bad tonight, mate. Havertz can play on the left instead of Trossard. At least they will have to pass to him. I'll see where Tony's going with that. The challenge has a time limit tonight. Yes, it's going to have to be quick names tonight. You're going to have to not think too much about. Well, who wants to think too much about Tottenham players anyway? How was the midfield week when he played Rice as lone DM with Vieira and Ode, with Everton having 2 pivot? Different game, different situation for me. Evening, gentlemen, and chat room. Big up the assembled. I don't know if you've counted. Well, I'll have to come back to that, Tony, because I don't know if you've put too many players. Jesus played right wing against Fulham. Bobby said quick. King is not a sprinter. Right, let's move on to the challenge. We all know how it works. 5 Tottenham players, 6 Arsenal players. Let's get on with it. Right, so you are up against the silver one tonight, and please do keep saying Danny. His name's Daniel, hates being called Danny. I've specifically typed Danny just to annoy him. He is a Tottenham person, so please, everyone, just keep calling him Danny. I will appreciate the
Danny, it is.
Yeah, Danny, and Danny
Oh,
again.
Danny boy.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Danny boy. All that. Just to wind him up. But he did give me a team, and to be fair, it's pretty good, to be fair. He's done a very good job. So we're going to start with the Tottenham players. So I'm going to start with you, Steve. Your first Tottenham player, please.
This is, I'm sorry. This is difficult. James Maddison.
Okay.
It's the only player they got that's decent.
Gunnar King, your first choice, please.
Definitely Son.
Okay, where do you want to put him? Centre, left, right?
Can we put some of their players on the bench?
Left, yeah.
You want him on the left? Okay. Oh, there he is. Right, your second player, please, Steve.
Okay, second Tottenham player. This is difficult.
We don't want to play this game anymore.
I don't want to. Because the team is going to be shit. It's going to be shit. Like, to this. Man, like anyone I put on there now, it's going to be weak, man. It's going to be shit. All right. Romero.
Okay, Romero. Okay, Gunnar King, your second, please, mate.
I definitely don't want to play this game anymore.
I just weakened our defensive line with Romero. I don't know what else I can do. Like, I'm not going to use that goalkeeper. He's shit. What, you going to use Porro?
It would be Kulusevski, but not over Saka. No way. Ain't no way. Not Porro.
This is bad. It's so bad.
Maybe Udoji.
Okay, Udoji.
Okay.
Okay.
we stop
So
now?
Steve, you get the final player.
Oh,
Okay, this is going to be the worst squad in the world now. This is literally, it's going to be shit. Oh, man. I can't do it. Like Son. It's going to have to be Son. And it would not be good.
I've already
Son's
picked
already
one.
there. Yeah, Son's already there.
Have you?
Mate.
You already got Son.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I got to pick. Great. You know what? No, stop it. I'm using their goalkeeper so we don't destroy this whole squad.
Okay, Vicario.
Vicario. I know he's crap, but I'd rather put the crap goalkeeper in and we could fill up the rest of the squad with quality.
Right.
Mm.
Right back. Ben White, yeah?
All day.
Mm.
I have to make sure it has to be your words, not mine. The final centre back position. Who you put in there?
Saliba.
Yeah, me too.
Steve. Yeah.
I'm still gonna do that too.
You both have to agree. So DM, who you put in there? Obviously, you can't have Thomas Partey.
Rice.
So yeah,
Rice
You
all
agree?
day.
Yeah,
Yeah, all day.
Players, and yeah, it's got to be Rice. Yeah,
the final midfield
Odegaard.
position.
Odegaard. Yeah,
Odegaard.
I just got to make
That'd be a
sure
good
both
partnership
there.
between Madison and Odegaard.
I'm going
It
to
would.
guess you're both doing Saka at right wing
yep,
All day.
yep.
and Jesus.
And Jesus. Yeah.
Definitely.
Okay. Right. So this is the team chosen by Steve and Gunnar King. Vicario in goal, Ben White, Romero. at
Not
the
willingly.
back. I know. Trust me, I know it's not willingly, but you take.
I'm gonna
part in the
wash my
challenge.
mouth out with soap after this.
The
challenge.
Doherty, Merton
Okay.
Odegaard, Rice, Madison, Saka, Jesus, and Son. Good team. Not bad. But this is what the others went with. Now, I'm going to start with Tony that picked the one on the left. He went with Raya, White, Saliba, Van der Ven, Udogie, Rice, Odegaard, Madison, Saka, Son up front, Solomon. Tony, I get what you're trying to do. I don't particularly like it, if I'm honest, because and as much as I love winding him up because his name's Daniel, and he hates being called Danny, I think Danny's gone for the better team, if I'm honest. He's managed to create a very good team. Good defensively because
Bro took out Saka.
yeah.
Get out of here. No, ain't no way, bruv.
I tell you,
Man.
Kulu. Like,
Mate.
seriously.
he explained this to me. He says defensively it covers Vicario, and this is a Tottenham man, so he wanted the strong defense to protect Vicario.
Like I said, his goalkeeper shit.
Yeah,
Why did he put his goalkeeper in then?
because honestly, he
like I did
he
now.
struggled just as much as you two did. And to be fair, it is tough to decide. But because of the defense, I love the Arsenal defense. I'm going to have to pick, as much as I hate him. I don't really. I love you, Danny. I just done it by accident there. Daniel, I love you. I'm going to have to give it to Danny. He has gone for the better. I like the fact that he's gone for Basuma, the DM as well. Don't get my words twisted. He's not better than Declan Rice, but he's managed to form a team by doing the challenge that is good enough for me. Because there's no way a Tottenham defender gets over any of our defenders, in my opinion.
In my opinion, none of their midfielders get in either.
I know.
I'm the same.
Son is the only player that gets in.
Madison, okay, we give him some credit, but the rest of them are
I give him credit, but is he better than Odegaard? No. Is he like more important than Rice? No. And if Partey was fit, I would absolutely use Partey and Rice with Odegaard, and that means Madison will sit on the bench with the greatest respect to him. You know,
I would only use Madison now because our option is Havertz. So out of the whole team, if they said, what is it? I go, look, you guys can have Havertz, you give me Madison, it's all over. And I don't like James Madison. I fucking hate him. But a spade is a quality midfielder. I would do that. But that would be it. Manor Solomon's going to get injured in this game because that's what he does. Vicario is going to let in goal after goal. And Romero is going to get a card early in the game against friggin' Jesus. Their team is shit. Like, it's not good. It's not. Look, these guys have got more chance of beating Arsenal on a go-kart track. That's about it. They're not going to win on the pitch. They're shit. It's all deadwood. Look. Son hasn't been the same Son for fucking a whole year. He's rubbish. Porro doesn't know if he's a right back or a fucking right winger.
Son's been all right at the start of this season. Man.
Yeah, he's been okay. Let's get into the comments because I love you, King Cobra Kai, because I get to put this up now. Danny boy. Thank you very much, King Cobra Kai, because I get to say it. It's not just me. I try and say every person's comment, unless they're trying to wind me up or trying to clip me. But that is definitely staying in. Danny boy. Thank you very much, King Cobra Kai. I couldn't pick a challenge team, Bobby, as the Spurs players aren't good enough to wear the shirt. But it's why it's called the challenge. It's not called an easy game. It's called the challenge.
Challenging, bro.
You know, I'll take Kulusevski to sit on our bench because he's an Arsenal fan. Ciao, Kulusevski.
Well, to be fair, next season I might be twisting the challenge a little bit because on this new site that I found, thank you to who sent it to me, you can actually put a bench. So the challenge will become harder because you have to pick more of their players. However, you can put most of their players on the bench. That's what I'm thinking of next season. So I might change it a little bit. Raya, White, Saliba, Van der Ven, Udogi, Rice, Sarr. I know what he's trying to do there because he knows how much like Sarr. Odegaard, Saka, Maddison, and Brennan Johnson. Jesus would be better.
Disrespect did Gabriel come from? Why?
This was disgusting to do. Yes, I get that it was very hard for you guys.
You're dirty. You're so dirty.
Tony, I love this. Daniel paid Bobby and offered a free hour of go-kart. Absolute joke. I promise. No money was exchanged.
He sold out.
You were sold on the Mario Kart, bro.
Because they said that my guy Ange is going to be in there as well.
Yeah. Look, Daniel, he did very well considering he's a Tottenham man. He did struggle as well because obviously hates Arsenal just as much as we hate Tottenham, but he did good team. So yeah, big up to Danny. So I'll keep doing it now. I'm gonna get slated when I answer the phone to him and go, "Oh, Danny," I'm gonna get slated. But anyway, Bobby, look what you've done. I know, I love it. Silver one is like mine, but Solomon makes him lose. Danny, not bad. There you go. I love it, Marcy. You keep doing this with Danny defense. Who cares who keeper? Eh? I'm just going to keep putting these comments up, Danny. Danny, not bad. Yeah, excellent stuff, Tony. Loving it. Right, predictions, guys, before we wrap it up. Gunnar King, you went for your heart and your head yesterday. 5-0, 3-1. Still sticking with those?
Yep.
Steve, what are you going for, mate?
3-1.
3-1. Is that heart?
Could be worse. I think it could be worse, but I think it's only going to be 3-1.
Okay. Well, I didn't actually say mine yesterday. I think it's going to be a 4-3. I think it's going to be one of those horrid games. I don't know why. I've just got this horrible feeling. King Cobra Kai has gone for 2-1. I don't know. You didn't put yours in last night.
It's tight.
Yeah. I just think it's going to be a horrible game. I don't know why. Tony, you went for 4-0. Yeah,
I've got yours. Game for them, not for us.
Exactly.
I've just got this horrible feeling. I hope I'm wrong.
This is their biggest test. Like they've got Ange. They've got Ange and all Ange ball. Relax yourselves. Just relax. You're coming over to our ground. Ange is under pressure. He knows it. I know Ange is playing cool.
Tony says
are fucking scared shitless right now.
Tony says his heart says 5-0.
You're getting that L, bro. You're getting that L. Just get used to it, cuz. It's all right. It's all right. It won't hurt that much. Every other Tottenham manager's got L's. You need to get your first.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, and I do need to ask it. This is not turning into Arsenal therapy, but if the worst was to happen Sunday, I may be taking some advice from you guys because obviously I'm going to be doing this with a Tottenham fan live watch along. If we do lose, how is it going to make you feel? Honestly,
vex, angry, very angry. I hate losing to Tottenham. I remember that 3-0 loss. Yeah, I literally locked myself. My ex-girlfriend at the time, she literally just went in the other room, closed the door. She was like, "I'm leaving you to it because you're pissing me off." And I was just like, "Yeah, you know what? It's probably for the best." I didn't even argue with her. I was just like, I'm annoyed. Watched match of the day again. Got even more annoyed. I hate losing to them. I hate losing to Tottenham. Like, it's the worst feeling in the world. When you lose to Tottenham, it's just like the last time we lost to Tottenham as well was the worst time.
because I knew top four was over.
Yeah.
I remember that. That was when we were in the trenches. Since then, we've played 14 London derbies, won 11 and drawn 3. So I'll be annoyed to break that record as well. We went a whole season unbeaten against London opposition last season. That's the longest consecutive record of not losing in London derbies. I'm not looking to lose that this season again. I want us to do it again. Not losing to anyone in London.
Now, Steve, I know you're a very chilled out person. I've seen you on streams.
I'm very chilled. I'm very calm.
You know, I wasn't there when you Australia were playing in the World Cup. I know you're a very chilled out, calm person. So if Arsenal were to lose at Tottenham, how would you react? Just go, oh, never mind.
No, well, what I'll do is I'll just swing past some of Ange's family's house and knock on the door and say, you're gonna have that. Okay. And you could either invite me in or I'm coming in. Either way, it's gonna happen. Now look, I'm gonna be let down in more than one way. The manager's gonna I'm gonna be pissed off at the manager, I'm gonna be pissed off at these players. We have the better squad, we have the better manager. If we lose to fucking Tottenham at the Emirates, it's gonna be another TV or something. I'm probably gonna break something. I know Case, you went. I know Case, like, good, you know, girls are not going to want to talk to me. No one's going to want to talk to me. I'm walking around with my gear on, all right, with Arsenal gear on, looking for someone to say something. I actually do that when we lose. I go out there wearing our gear, looking for someone to say some shit so I can walk. Are you sure? You sure you want this now? Because I do. That's why I'm in this gear now. So we'll do this. And I don't care who you support. I just need to release now, you know, and it can be you. So I'm going to be fucking fuming. I'm going to be on edge, and I don't see us losing to them. I don't. I think the worst result we're going to get is a fucking draw.
Even that's going to piss me off. You know?
Yeah, that's going to fucking piss me off too. We can't draw. It's a must win. The pressure's on us.
I've had all these Tottenham fans be like, you know what? Loads of them, they've been talking a big game all season, and they're like, yeah, we can come to your stadium. And I'm like, what can you do? And they're like, we can get a draw.
Celebrating a draw. Celebrating a draw.
Ooh,
celebrating a draw.
You're coming to the Emirates for a point, are you? And they're like, yeah, but if we get a point, I'm coming for you. These lot are going to celebrate. Even if they draw, they're going to celebrate.
I'll buy you a cake. Let's buy them a cake.
Exactly like you remember at Stamford Bridge last season when they got a draw, and they threw the title parade. The one that they wish they could have for winning the league, like, it was embarrassing. And
if they get a draw at the Emirates, Ange Postecoglou is going to get like a statue in front of the fucking shop.
You know what I mean? Like, the DVD's going to come out. We put the pressure on DVDs. You know what I mean? Like, the memes are going to fly here. So for me, a draw's as good as a loss, almost.
Yeah,
almost.
Hell yeah. Because we're a team that's we're a team that's going for gold this season. These guys are just happy to exist.
Yeah, pretty much.
They really shouldn't be. You know, they should have folded a long time ago. But that's none of my business. You know what I mean? Like,
look, somebody has to support them, and you know, the masses in London that probably have got problems. They're going to have to support someone, and why not Tottenham? I mean, no one else would accept these fans. I mean, Fulham would be like, no, we don't need that. You know, we'll do an empty stadium. We don't want these guys. Don't support us. Seriously, you want that fan base, man? This fucking shit fan base. Every friggin' season they come in, we're going to win this, we're going to win that. Based on what? Fucking stupidity, mate. You've won nothing, ever. I've been an Arsenal fan since 92, and I haven't seen you guys do shit. Like, nothing. You guys haven't been a competitor in the Premier League. And if they call you a rival, fuck me. I need someone better than that. Man United's a better rival than fucking Tottenham. Honestly.
The last thing I'm going to say is, if we win, I don't want to hear no obsessed. I don't want to, because they've already started doing this today. Oh, you know what? Man United and Chelsea have been an absolute shower of shit to the point where I've just ignored them. The only things that I've had to say about anyone, is about those two clubs. I made one post today. I get about 10 people saying, "Oh, you're obsessed with Spurs. All you do is talk about Spurs." So I'm like, okay, so direct me to the nearest tweet, TikTok post, or anything that I've made about Tottenham of late. They're like, and I'm like, oh yeah, because that's what they do. You know what I mean? They give it the big un. When they beat us to top four, they give it the big un. When we came second, they give it the big un. But the moment you mention them after they dropped the ball, like the other day against Fulham, they were giving it the big un when we drew to Fulham. Days later, they draw and then they lose to Fulham on penalties. I laugh at them for it. And then they're like, oh, you're obsessed. We live rent free in your head. Weren't you laughing at me for drawing against Fulham a few days ago? Yes. Yes, you were. You admit it. Yes. Okay, so what are we doing here? A few days later, you've lost to them on penalties, and I'm just supposed to sit there. Nothing to say or do or say here. They're embarrassing. The way they do this, yeah, they come with these obsessed, these rent-free things. But the moment we mess something up, oh, they're there. They're there. You know, they're there, ready to throw the parade. Yeah. For the fact that we failed to do something. But when they fail to do something and we point it out to them, we're the obsessed ones. Absolute bums.
Because we're their betters, mate. We're their betters. They're a lesser team. So when their betters fucking think about them, oh, we live in your head. You'd really enjoy that, wouldn't you? You'd actually be somewhere successful, you fuckwits. In my head, I've seen success, you prick. Like, seriously, they just, look, for them, they're happy to be finishing 10th only to take maybe 3 points from Arsenal, and that's a success. That tells you a lot about the desire and passion of the team and the fan base. Because the problem is the fan base, that's their energy. They're happy to just go in there and go, well, we'll beat Arsenal this season. Whoop-de-fucking-do.
They're happy when Arsenal or Chelsea drop the ball.
Yeah.
You know, like,
and look what Chelsea have done.
Forget being successful ourselves, because that's too much to ask for. We'll just wait for when Arsenal or Chelsea drop the ball.
Because that becomes an expectation.
We do worse than them. Laugh at Arsenal for coming second when you finished 8th. You sacked your manager, put in place the caretaker, sacked the caretaker, put in place the assistant to the caretaker. But let's laugh at Arsenal because they finished second. Absolute mugs. Do you know what I mean?
They couldn't get a freaking manager. How long was it? Remember when before Conte? When they were going. Actually, was it? No, after Nuno, they were looking for a manager. They went after Conte. They couldn't get him. For a while, they had no one knocking on the door. No one. Like, no one, dude. No one. We're going to get Nagelsmann. The fuck you say? The fuck you say to me? You're going to get Nagelsmann to do what? Sign your shit, hand it back, and say Merry fucking Christmas. Nagelsmann. Seriously, you got the kind of shit, the delusion. Oh, we got Ange now. Ange, this is Ange's stepping stone, guys. Okay, Ange is a good manager. I'm just going to jump onto this. Ange is a decent manager. This is a stepping stone for him. He'll come to Tottenham. He'll do half decent, and hopefully move on to a real fucking club like Crystal Palace.
Right, let's move on because we'll need to wrap it up. 3-1 to the Arsenal says, Mars, if Spuds win, I'll contact the FA and tell them our player are having bets. North London derbies causes breakups. I don't mind a draw as long as we score more goals. Serve versus Greek Crones if we lose. I do that too, Steve. Wear it always. Win or lose. I've supported Arsenal for over 50 years. You're lucky, Ozzy. I've heard it all over these 50 years. I imagine you have.
You poor bugger.
City are rivals now. That's the only team that is a rival. Big up to Gunnar King again. Obviously, we did a massive stream yesterday, 2 of them yesterday, and the wonderful Steve that's managed to get up for us. Bless him. Where can they find you, Steve?
Well, look, I do have a YouTube channel. I know I've been quiet, mainly because, changing career and yada, 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 but I'm trying to figure things out and get back on. So you will find me on the Aussie Gunner channel. You will find me on the Armoury TV, and you'll definitely find me on the Football Capital. And you never know, from time to time, Never a Foul, Terrace from time to time, or in Australia, wearing an Arsenal kit if we lose, looking to hurt someone. By all means, if you want to see me after a game and looking for a hurting, I'm your guy.
Gunnar King, where can they find you, my friend?
Twitter, Gunnar King 14, TikTok, that's my handle as well, Gunnar King 14. Regularly doing lives, Twitter Spaces. Trying I'm starting to really enjoy, to be honest. So those are the main places you can find me. Obviously here on the Armoury, the Ludwig Gooners channel occasionally, AFTV as well, occasionally fan cams, there's a few more things that I'm working on in the pipeline as well. So hopefully I should have some news on that in the coming weeks as well.
Awesome stuff. You'll always see me on here on the Armoury and FTSN. I'll be back tomorrow night to do Burnley versus United because I'm a non-biased fan, so I do watch-alongs for most games. And then on Sunday, which I am dreading, I have to be honest, I'm going to be joined by Dermot. I'm not dreading that part. Dermot's a lovely bloke, but he's a Tottenham fan. And I've got to do watch-along.
Anyway, don't you worry about that, bro.
Yeah, it's going to be a nightmare. Bobby, do you get the impression Ozzy and Gunnar hate the Spuds? No, not at all. Great show, guys. Good to see you, Ozzy. I hope
you're just trying to keep professional.
Well. Yeah. Spuds are remora fish. Those fish that. Oh, okay. Yes. Enough. Yeah, I know you want about that.
Going along the slipstream. Yeah.
Yeah, Nagelsmann is now the German coach, which I'm happy about because I'm part German, so I'm absolutely happy about that. But that's for a whole different stream because Nagelsmann is a good coach and he's now the coach of Germany. So I'm happy. Guys, take care. Enjoy your weekend. Let's hope it's a very good North London derby for us and not for them.
You Spurs.
Exactly. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. See you later.
Uru, guys. Uru.